Hi Anne.
Hi Mike, nice to meet you.
And you. Good to see you. Today we're going to be speaking to Anne Jones, who is a spiritual healer, a published author of 6 books, a keynote speaker, who travels the world and appears on TV and also on radio. Thanks for allowing us to have this time to talk to you about your life, what you do, how you help people. But one thing that really is a hot topic at the moment is 2012.
Ah, yes, yes.
There's I've been hearing a lot of really scary stories about what's going to happen in 2012. It's a real doomsday and a lot of fear and the end of the world rumours. Do you believe this? Is that going to happen?
Well, I don't. Let me explain a little bit for viewers. 2012 is in everybody's mind at the moment, obviously, because we're in 2011 and it's getting closer, and there have been a lot of rumours around. The basis of a lot of the rumours has come from the fact that the Mayans, which are from Mexico area of America, ancient civilization, if you like, they were very advanced with their astrological predictions, and they had a calendar, and this calendar stopped in 2012, which made people start to think that maybe that this was some prediction that the end of the world was coming then. There's also a lot of other predictions through various ancient writings and prophecies that there is something which people can think might be like the Revelations, where the end of the world, where the sheep and the goats go different ways, and the apocalypse and so on. And of course, as in the new age has come through, the new times of Aquarius, which is we're in now, there's been a lot of people who talk to spirits, talk to ascended masters, and get a lot of channeling through from spirit, which means that there's a lot of input on this. Now, I've heard everything from chariots coming through the skies and whipping people off the earth to terrific catastrophes, natural catastrophes that will kill a lot of people. Personally, I don't buy any of that. There are some effects on what's happening that's affecting the weather and so on, but maybe I'll talk about that in a minute. But to go back to what's actually happening, I believe that we are at the beginning of a whole new spiritual era. Okay, we've just come out of an era that's been very strongly, it's just been spiritual in some ways, but it's been very much controlled by the big religions in the world.
So is it like an awakening?
It is, in my view, it's an awakening. I see that we will be changing the way we connect to our spiritual sides, to spirit itself. I see it being more of an individual approach. I see that the energies of the world changing. Now, I was talking to someone the other day he was a civil engineer and he got involved in energy work, and he was talking about the actual vibration of the earth changing. The sun has changed and the earth is changing, and therefore we are also changing. So it's as if there's if you think of the life force energy that keeps us all going, that flows through us, the spiritual energy that flows through us all, flows through nature, it connects us all, this energy that flows through, this energy is actually going to change its vibration. So it means that all of us will be affected. And I think some of the doomsday can come from the fact that if a whole new uplifting energy comes through somebody, they can react to it 2 ways. They can either go with it or they can fight it. And the fighting of it can cause a bit of disturbance for people. But if you go with it, that means that you can, when you're feeling good, when you're feeling happy, well, you just magnify that by about 10 or 100 times. It gives you a state of bliss, a state of euphoria, ecstasy. And I've been in touch with those energies, and I work with those energies, and part of my role is to bring those energies into the earth and to anchor them into people and into the planet itself. And I can tell you they are fabulous. It's like I call them whooshes. I talk about the whooshes I get when these energies flow through me. It's just lucky that I can feel it. And I know that this energy is quite beautiful, and it does make you feel great, like on a high.
Alive.
Yeah, very much alive. And as we go into this, what I call the new spiritual era, so people will become more conscious of spiritual aspects of themselves. And when they become conscious of their spiritual aspects, they start to work more from a place of the heart than the mind. So where we for centuries have been moving more and more into a mindful state rather than a feely, instinctive state. If you go back to the indigenous peoples, they lived and worked, if you can call their hunting gathering work, much more intuitively than we do today. They're in tune with nature. That means they're in tune with spirit.
Okay.
So those people were always following their feelings. We have started to, again now, as this new energy change comes through, but for a long time it's been the scientists have ruled. We've been governed by our minds, and of course our emotions then have picked up on the way the mind works, which is often not in a positive way, and that gets you into negative emotions. So once we start to move on a higher vibration, I really do believe that there'll be more love in the world. I believe there'll be more harmony in the world, and there'll be peace. One of the problems we've got at the moment is that because so many people are fearful, so many people are materialistic, so many people see everything through success and failure, judging themselves, what happens is that it makes it very difficult for someone to hold a different view. Because there's so many people in the world at the moment with fear, so many people who are fearful and anxious about their own state of finances, and so much fear and anxiety about the future, and there's a lot of low self-esteem. There's a lot of negative situations going on in the world, and a lot of negative thoughts. Now all those thoughts accumulate because they're energy, and they hang around around the world. They hang around you, they hang around me. At the moment it's like walking through thick sludge when you're down on earth. You're surrounded by the negativity, the pessimism, the anger, the frustration of the people around us. So it will be easier. It's rather like what's going on at the moment in Egypt. What we're seeing that people there are finding their voice, they're speaking up, and they're finding the freedom to speak. That is going to affect all the other nations around them. And we understand that. It makes sense to see that, if one lot of people can do it. But it's more than that too, from an energetic point of view. When one group of people, a mass, 20 million, it's more than 20 million, there's millions of people in Egypt. Once they start to feel they can speak without fear, then the energy lifts. That oppressive energy lifts, and it makes it easier for other people to be the same. And I see this as quite honestly very significant of this new era that we're moving into. People are not going to accept, they're not going to want the same things that they've had in the past. So it's going to make a huge difference to the way we live. Huge difference in the way we think about ourselves. Huge difference in the way we think about other people. When you're at school, I'm sure you were brought up with this, everything's a competition. Everything then is about, well, did I win or did I lose? Am I a failure or am I a success? Am I good or am I bad? I can remember this at school. It was judgment, judgment, judgment all the way. I was good if I did well at my exams. I was bad if I didn't. I was good if I ate my lunch and dinner. I was bad if I didn't. These are such fundamental things, and if the whole of our societies have been based on this, you're good or you're bad, or you're right or you're wrong, and that's totally on judgment. This I see changing. It's definitely going to make a difference to people, mostly a positive one in my view. Definitely.
You made quite a few references to climate there and climate change.
Yes, well, you know, I see the world and humanity as a group energy. I mean, it's got the greatest energy is the world, the atmosphere around it, and all the people and everything on the world. So every rock, every stone, every plant is all part of this big energy. And then, of course, it comes down into smaller and smaller groups to the individual, and even down in an individual down to a cell. If a new energy is flowing through the world, each individual cell and every individual person, every tree, every plant will be affected. But the whole will be affected as well. And I see that affecting the climate. It has to. You know, you can't change a vibration of something without it affecting the warmth, the heat, the cold, and so on and so forth. So, and also I've noticed in healing, when a person starts to heal, they go through turbulent waters. I can do a healing for someone and they will go away and they'll maybe feel very high for a while, and then they'll start to have emotional ups and downs as they settle into their new level of energy. Now, it's only a period of time that goes on, and as we're all microcosms of the macrocosm, we are a small unit of a larger being, which is the world and everything on it. Yeah. If an individual is like that when they're healing and changing energy levels, it must be the same for the greater energy, which is the planet. Mm. So it makes sense to me that there will be upheavals, there will be earthquakes, there will be hurricanes, there will be changing weather patterns. I know that we are very keen to blame ourselves for this, but generally speaking, that low self-esteem, that very, very quick to judge ourselves badly, to pick up guilt, all these things, all these states of being are, I believe, going to start to shift. Mm-hmm. Gradually they'll shift. And, you know, you can see that some cultures are adapting to this new energy quicker than others. Old habits and old cultures that have been very strictly controlled are going to take longer, whereas a country like the States, they embrace freedom of speech. They embrace children, if you say, saying that they're good. I mean, you've only got to watch Pop Idol to see the young people in America are very quick to say, look, I'm wonderful, I'm going to be the next Pop Idol. It's easy for them to be confident and full of their own, what's good about themselves. Or the Far East even, they're very slow to express what they feel, and they rather say that they're no good rather than say they're good. Yeah. They're indoctrinated in their culture. But they will eventually change, and they'll start to say, I may not be perfect, but guess what? I have got some good points. What I feel we've done in the past, we've said, that's what we need to be. It's like the perfect figure, the perfect shape, the perfect mind, the perfect intellect, the perfect painter. And then if we hold that up as this is how we should be. And anything that isn't like that, we say, that means I'm no good. I'm not good enough, and so on. That's always taking a comparison against something else. Well, I see that changing. I think we're moving to a time when we'll be quite happy to be unique and different.
What do you think the individual can do to prepare for the things that they're going to be facing and not be scared? What is it you think they can do as an individual?
Okay, there's a lot of people with that problem at the moment because there's been a lot of upheavals in the financial world, and a lot of people are frightened about the banks and what's going on in that sense. We've had a lot of scares about health issues with pandemics and so on that we've faced. So there's a lot of fear around. Mostly fear comes from what people think is going to happen. So the first thing I would suggest is try to live in the moment you're in and not worry too much about the future. Now, it's easy to say don't worry, and I know it's very hard not to throw a switch, but there's a couple of things I suggest here. You will get fearful thoughts coming in. If you do, what I do is if I get a thought that's negative, I start thinking, oh, well, that won't work, or maybe this will go wrong. That's really not going to help the situation at all. I will send a little blast to catch up with the thought. Now, every thought we have is energy. So when I think something fearful or negative in any way, I have created a beam of energy. What I want to do then is turn that negative energy into positive energy. And the light overcomes the dark. So if you go into a room and it's dark and you throw a switch, the light wins. We know that. We live with that, knowing the light wins. We don't have to watch old John Wayne movies to prove that. The light wins. So what you can do is, once you've had a negative thought, is you can send some light to it. Now, the simplest and easiest thing to do is what I do, and it might sound a bit soppy, but I just blow it a kiss. It's like, oh, sorry, wrong thought. Sending it some light, turning it around. So you've made a conscious point of turning that negative thought into a positive one. But if you want to be generally in a better place in terms of not being fearful and anxious, you really need to start living not so much from your mind. I mentioned earlier people living from their minds and through their thoughts, processes and their beliefs, but come through living through your heart. Also, people live through fear. All our fears are held down here in our solar plexus. So what we want to do is get the focus away from there, away from our mind, and into the place where we naturally produce love. And that's our heart center. Now, when I talk about heart center, I'm not talking about the physical heart. I'm talking about the energy center, or chakra, which is a Sanskrit word we use to describe the energy centers that we have through our body that bring energy in, take energy out, and they're connected to emotions and feelings. The one I'm mentioning here is the one in the middle of the chest, which is our heart center. And that is the receptacle, our energy receptacle, if you like, to receive love and give out love. So we are a permanent factory producing love. We just can send it out and we can bring it in. We can do it at will. We can do it positively, in a positive way. We can say, I'm going to spend my day with somebody I like and the love will flow. I'm going to read a book I enjoy, and it brings us into a positive state. So we can make a choice, if you like, to open up to being in a loving state. So we can actually open our heart. Now, if you find that, or people find that difficult at conception, what I suggest you do is you see a pair of doors, or imagine a pair of doors opening, and know that as you see those doors opening, so your heart is opening. When your heart is open and you're focused on your heart, you're in the state of love, because that's what the energy that's there, the high vibration energy of love. If you're in your mind, you can be thinking positively, but you can also be thinking in a negative way. So it's much better to focus here. Here we sit with fears. Another thing you can do is, I've recently written a book called The Power of You, and that book is about your personal power and will, and the seat of that is here in your solar plexus. That aspect of us, that power and that strength, can easily get lost through fear and anxiety, which is also held here. So we can lose our will, lose our strength, lose our personal empowerment by being in the state of fear. To turn that around, you can also connect to an energy force which may seem a bit bizarre, but which is the sun. The sun is the largest and strongest source of positive energy in our galaxy. It emits a very powerful spiritual energy. And this powerful spiritual energy you can connect to, and you can actually feel and allow that strong energy of the sun to burn up and to activate your own solar energy, which is the solar plexus. So you're connecting your solar, your sun, with the sun that we know that sits in the sky. So this is the way it works with energy. If you make a connection with something, that energy will flow to you.
It's definitely coming over that the people that know you and the people that have connected with you in whatever method, be it via your website, through your seminars, your retreats, your books, your CDs, however you've connected with people, they will know that you're a very caring, giving person. You're sharing a lot of what you have and a lot of your knowledge. You've recently got involved with a radio station, which is another form of your giving, called Radio Lightworker.
That's right, yeah.
What is a lightworker? Explain to me the lightworker side of things.
Right. Lightworker is a term that was introduced, I don't know, I suppose about 20 odd years ago. I can't remember the name of the gentleman that he wrote a book, and he identified that there were a lot of people on Earth at this time. Bearing in mind most people have some form of reason to be on Earth, will have different ways of bringing this energy in. And you can be a light worker as a car mechanic. You can be a light worker as an IT consultant or a marketing consultant. You can be a light worker, of course, as a Reiki healer, the nurse, doctor. But you can be a light worker in any role on Earth. But you will have the intention of helping people in some way. You will have the intention of lifting the vibrations of Earth in some way. And most people who are light workers will know they are that. They will know, they'll have a sense that they are happy and fulfilled when they're helping other people. But they have all known they're here to do something for the good of humanity, or for animals, or for the planet. If you feel that your life isn't fulfilled and there's more to it than you've got at the moment, if you feel that you have some unrequited mission here, then the chances are you are a light worker. If you're very sensitive to other people and what their needs are, if you feel and sense energy in any way, either by seeing it or psychically, not all light workers are psychically aware, but a lot of them are. If you feel happier always when you're doing what feels right, there's just a strong sense that you have almost a responsibility and a duty as well.
And Radio Lightworker is online, isn't it?
Yes,
you can actually listen to your broadcast online, can't you?
Yes, you can. It's Rachel who runs the Lightworker Radio. She has a magazine as well. It's very clever because you go to the website, the Lightworker website, and you just Google Radio Lightworker, and it takes you to the website. And on the website, you'll see all the programs that have been recorded in the last few months, and you can listen to them, or you can go to iTunes and download them.
Oh, and thank you ever so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and your kindness with everyone today.
Bless you.
And if anyone wants to come along to your seminars and hear you personally give a talk at your go to a seminar or retreat, how would they find out about that?
Well, I have a website. Everything's on my website. Go to www.annejones.org. It's all there. So
Excellent.
I can make contact with you that way. So fantastic.
Lovely. And thank you once again. It's been lovely listening to you share your beliefs and your kindness and your love. Thank you.
Bless you. Thanks very much, Mike. It's been a pleasure.
Thank
Thank you.